Jays fans, you know what time it is. It's time for your weekly Blue Jays recap. And there are a lot of positive things that we can touch on this week, but there are also some crazy negatives, especially off the field stuff that we have heard as of today from the Toronto Blue Jays, and we're going to get to those first. First thing, I have four sticky notes in front of me. For anybody knowing, I usually have two for a game. So 4 jammed, it's going to be a lot to get through here, but let's break it down. The first thing I got on here is the biggest news of the day. Right-handed reliever Kirby Yates, it seems like he is going to be done for the year. Tommy John surgery. Didn't the Jays sign him to a 1-year deal? Well, there's your Blue Jays tenure, few spring training games, and that's it. Tough blow for the Jays because he was probably going to open the year as the closer. Now, the Blue Jays do have a lot of options. They do have Jordan Romano, who can easily slide into that role. Rafael Dolis did a great job of that last season as well. They have all kinds of names who can throw back-end relief innings in this year. So it's not a huge loss. Obviously, he would have made a huge impact on this team coming this year. This hair is annoying me. And it really does suck to see him go down, not only for us, but for him personally, right? Trying to revitalize his career after a rough season last year, had bone spurs taken out of his elbow. He was looking to kind of rekindle himself, and then this. It's really tough for him, and hopefully it's a speedy recovery for Kirby Yates. Now on to George Springer, as he has a mild oblique strain, which doesn't seem too bad, right? And you got to think, Jays fans, if he's not ready for game 1, let's say, does that really matter a whole lot? It's not like you're playing in front of Rogers Center in a jam-packed stadium looking at your new signing and blah, blah. Whether you're in Dunedin or you're in New York, it's not going to be a full stadium, and who cares? Yankee fans don't care if they see Springer or not. They probably prefer not to see him in game 1. And we got to realize what's more important. And I said this about Stroman back in the day in the spring training where he got hurt. I think it was his last spring training as a Blue Jay. I said to you guys watching these videos, I'm like, why do you need Marcus Stroman out there for the first outing of the season? You don't need him there. You want him there down the stretch in a playoff run, right? You don't want Springer, especially, to go out there in game 1, re-aggravate this oblique strain because you're trying to get him out ready for opening day, and then have him out for a month, 2 months because it's worse. Oblique strains can be really tough to handle. They got to be careful with him. If he's not there for game 1 or game 2 of the season, whatever. You're playing 162. It doesn't matter. Last year it was a race, not a marathon. This year it's a marathon, not a 100-meter dash. You're playing for an entire season. You're playing for a playoff run. You're not playing for game 1 or 2 of the year. So if Springer's not 100% ready to go for game 1, then don't play him. That's just my feeling on that. You don't need him for any spring training games. He's going to be out for those, and that's fine. I don't care. Just make sure he's healthy and ready to go when he does come back. The last bit of injury update news is Robbie Ray. If you've not heard already, he fell. I think it was up the stairs with his kid in his hand. First off, I hope the kid's okay. And Robbie Ray has a bruised elbow. He ain't making his next start. All this dropping on Jays fans today. It's not very serious on Robbie Ray's front. He'll probably be ready for the season. I can't see there being an issue there. For Springer, it shouldn't linger much into the year at all. And for Yates, pretty much done for the season. They're going to go for a second opinion, make sure, but it looks like Tommy John. So that doesn't look too good for him. So that's kind of the update for the Blue Jays in that front. Not very good off-field stuff. However, on the field, the Blue Jays looked very good this past week. They ended up 4-2 on the week. Very good. Obviously, both losses came at the helm of the Yankees, which isn't very good, but it's spring training ball. That's what we got to try and think of it as. Now, let's get to game 1 of the week, which was on Wednesday. Obviously, we talk every Tuesday, so on Wednesday, they played the Yankees and lost 1-0. Obviously, the Jays didn't get any offense going in that game, hence the big 0 on our end. But the pitching staff looked pretty good. Thomas Hatch was good, went 2 innings, 2 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, didn't allow a run in his 2 innings of work. He actually started the game. Francisco Liriano continues to show his strong play in spring training so far. He went an inning in the 3rd, allowed 2 hits and nothing more. Great job by him. A.J. Cole went a clean inning, 1 walk and a strikeout, so a great job for A.J. Cole going out there. And Anthony Castro, a guy that I'm going to bring up a little bit here. I don't think I have him written down again, but so I want to bring him up now. He's been impressive this spring training. I think he has had 7 different outings. He has an ERA of like 1.4 something. He's going out there throwing strikes. You saw in that outing against the Yankees where he pitched the 9th inning. 1 inning, had 2 strikeouts, didn't allow a hit, didn't walk a batter, didn't allow a run. He was solid. He's been very good in the spring. Again, he's 25, so he's not some young guy, trying to prove himself or just trying to show what he's got at the spring training level. He's a 25-year-old guy that's trying to make the team. And if not, get a good spot there in Buffalo, getting ready to go for a call-up at some point. Because the way the injuries are going to happen this year, you might need these types of guys. But you lose 1-0. Oh well. You got some good pitching performances. I think for any Blue Jay fan, we're all looking at the pitching performances. We know what the offense can bring. They're going to have off nights here and there. Yeah, that's going to happen. But overall, we're all looking at the pitching. And we're all looking at the way the bullpen's pitching and how these new guys are looking and how is, Robbie Ray bouncing back. How is Steven Matz looking as a Blue Jay? Who's starting these games and whatnot. There's so many question marks going into this that I have a lot of pitchers written down on these numbers for you guys. Now, they didn't play on the Thursday, I don't think. So they played on the Friday. They won 8-1 over the Detroit Tigers. Lots of good offensive numbers in this game. Jonathan Davis, who's been very impressive at the bat so far in the spring. He's been off over the last couple of games, but overall, pretty solid spring for Jonathan Davis. 2 for 4 in the game, had 2 runs scored, and had an RBI in the game. Again, I forget if guys hit home runs or whatnot because there were so many games that I have to cover here. So I have these written down. If I miss anything very important, you guys can let me know in the comments. Joe Panik, good to see him back with the Toronto Blue Jays. He had a solid year overall last year. Had a slow start, but really picked it up and finished the season strong with the Blue Jays. Obviously, a very short season, so it's kind of hard to tell, but over the course of the season, he did a pretty good job. He went 2 for 3 with an RBI, a run scored, and he walked once in that game. So a great job for Joe Panik, getting on base 3 out of the 4 times. Attaboy. And Vladimir Guerrero Jr. continuing ripping the baseball at a stupid rate. He went 3 for 3 in the ballgame. I don't know what has gotten into Vladdy. I understand he loses weight, but that can't be the only thing that's changed. His mentality must be changing because he is absolutely ripping the cover off the ball in the spring. Joshua Palacios, who's had a very, very, very solid spring, continues to rake. He went 2 for 3, had 2 runs scored, and he had an RBI in that game. So great job for Palacios. And Robbie Ray, before falling up the stairs, has a 5 1/3 inning pitched ball game. He was very good out there against Detroit. 4 hits, 1 run, and the big key for Robbie Ray, 1 walk and 7 strikeouts. Boom. And I just got an update. Raptors reportedly discussing deals. Oh God, the Lowry and Powell deals are heating up. Oh God, Raptor fans watching this. Oh, you got the live update. It just popped up on my phone. I'm not liking this. But anyways, let's get back to the Blue Jays. Robbie Ray has been very impressive so far in spring training, and that start right there is giving a lot of Blue Jay fans this glimpse of hope. Right? This glimpse of, okay, is he going to be that good? Because we all talk about, spring training. Yeah, I get that. But throwing strikes doesn't really say, it's spring training or not. When you're giving up runs and allowing hits and those things, can kind of be flipped if you're in regular season and in spring training. But when you're throwing strikes, that's where you're throwing strikes in spring training. You're throwing strikes in the regular season. Doesn't change. So the fact that he only walked 1 guy over 5 1/3 and had 7 strikeouts, and the only run he gave up was a solo bomb. I thought Robbie Ray was fantastic in that ball game against the Detroit Tigers. Also, great to see Trent Thornton back with the Blue Jays. Obviously had a rough year last season with the tough time that he had when he was playing, and then injury, done for the year. Didn't see him the rest of the season. So good to see him back out there. He went 2 innings, didn't allow a hit, didn't walk a batter, didn't allow a run, and he struck out 4 over the 2 innings of work. So a great job for Trent Thornton. Good to see him back out there in action. And David Phelps, I will continue to say it, that David Phelps is such an underrated move for this team, and he is such an underrated reliever in that bullpen for this Blue Jays ball club because of the stuff that he has. He's got top quality stuff, and in that game, he went an inning, struck out the side. He's a very good reliever. He was very good in his small tenure with the Blue Jays. They got Thomas Hatch back in return, and they obviously there's a year removed in that, the 2020 season, but you got Hatch back a couple years later, and I think he's still the same guy. I think he's going to do really well for this team this year. And then on Saturday, they played the Philadelphia Phillies and they won 3-1. So another great game for the Blue Jays, and there was a couple good offensive performances. Bo Bichette, who's kind of had a slow spring training, but again, that's what spring training's all about, getting your feet underneath you and get yourself cooking. Bo Bichette, 2 for 3 in the ball game, had a run, had an RBI, and a walk, so a great game for Bo. And Randal Grichuk, who's kind of like the least talked about Blue Jay right now. I mean, he was the most talked about Blue Jay right after Springer was signed because everyone's talking about getting rid of him. But he went 2 for 3 in that game, so a great job for Randal Grichuk. Great to see him swinging the bat well, and it's not against the Baltimore Orioles. I mean, Detroit's not much better, but either way, 2 for 3, great job for Grich. And Riley Adams, the reason I'm bringing this guy up is because I swear every time this guy comes into a ball game, he's hitting a bomb. He was 1 for 1, came in to hit. He obviously came in to catch in that game, and he went 1 for 1 and crushed a dinger. And guess what? 2 or 3 bombs in the spring, and he hasn't had many at-bats. At one point, he had 2 bombs and 8 at-bats. So Riley Adams kind of turning some heads here in spring training, so a great job by him. Now, Steven Matz got the ball in this one. He went 5 innings, allowed 5 hits, 1 run, did not walk a batter, and struck out 6. I will say it again like I did with Robbie Ray. Throwing strikes is huge. The fact that Matz and Robbie Ray threw a combined 10 and a third. See, you guys know my math is awful. 10 and a third innings pitched and walked 1 batter. Great to see from your 2 lefties, and he struck out 6 guys over those 5 innings of work. So a great job for Steven Matz. Him and Robbie Ray have had fantastic springs, and I'm hoping, and we're all hoping and praying, they can continue that play heading into the regular season with all the question marks surrounding the Blue Jays starting rotation. Bullpen does a great job yet again in this one. Tyler Chatwood, I've been hyping up all spring training long. I will continue to do so. He went an inning, allowed 1 hit, walked the batter. Or no, sorry, that was Payamps. Chatwood went a clean inning of work, no hits, no walks, and a strikeout. And Payamps, a guy who has been bouncing back from the Red Sox to the Blue Jays on the waiver wire. He went out there, like I said, 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 walk, but didn't allow a run to cross. So a great job for Payams. And Travis Bergen, good to see him going out there. 1 inning, 1 hit, struck out the other 3 guys. So a great job for Travis Bergen, and the Blue Jays picked up the 3-1 victory there. Now, on Sunday, they played the Yankees again, and they lost 8-3. Again, Randal Grichuk, 2 for 3 in back-to-back games. So good to see for Grichuk going 4 for 6. Yeah, that's good math. 4 for 6 in 2 games against the Phillies and then the Yankees. Oh, no, I think I said the Tigers. Did I say the Orioles? No, I said the Phillies. They won 3-1 on Saturday night. Grichuk went 2 for 3. Great job. Again, this is off of Garrett Cole, right? So this is not an easy test. And Marcus Semien led off that ball game with a bomb off of Garrett Cole. Oh, Blue Jay fans drooling over that. Great job. I think he was in the leadoff hole that game, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe it was against Detroit, he was in the leadoff hole. No matter what, though, he had a bomb off of Garrett Cole, which is not an easy test in itself. Later on in the ball game, once it was down and out, though, Kevin Smith, Blue Jays prospect, who kind of has been struggling there at the AA level, he went 1 for 1. He hit a bomb. It was an opposite field bomb for Kevin Smith, so a good job for him. And I have written down here, Tanner Roark, garbage. And people could say, well, the defense behind... Look, no. You were awful against the Yankees. I don't care what, this guy did behind you. This guy, you were giving up hard hit contact left and right. Roark wasn't good. Period. And I know people like some big people like to defend him and whatnot. I don't look at him as a starting pitcher. I don't even look at him as a big league pitcher. You're not throwing hard, and you're not spotting your pitches right. You know what we call that in sports? BP. And that's what Tanner Roark's been last year, and other than his first 2 starts of the spring, which were like 2 and 3 innings, other than those 2 games, he's been straight up dog garbage. Anyways, AJ Cole was pretty good in his 1 inning of work. He had an inning, 1 hit, 1 walk, and a strikeout. And Anthony Kay came in, and he had to eat up some innings, but a very intriguing lefty for the Toronto Blue Jays because, again, a guy that probably will start the year at AAA Buffalo when they do start their season and be a starter down there. However, he went 4 innings, allowed 2 hits, 1 run, walked 2, and struck out 3. He was very good. He was very solid after that horrendous start for Tanner Roark. Anthony Kay went out there and ate up some innings, so a really good job for Anthony Kay. And Kirby Snead went out there, 1 inning, 1 hit, 2 strikeouts, so a good job for him. But again, you were facing Garrett Cole, and he gave up 7 runs over the first 2 innings. You know what that usually ends in? A loss. And it did, 8-3. Now, so at this point in time, the Blue Jays are 2-2 on the week. And then they played on Monday. They played the Detroit Tigers and won that game 4-3. But they had to come back in that game to win that one. I think, Santiago Espinal had that double, the RBI double there in the 8th inning to give the Blue Jays the lead. So a great job for him. And Marcus Semien continues to show us that he can handle the bat. 2 for 3 in that game, 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs. And I wrote down that he hit a bomb. I'm not sure if he did. There's a lot of notes written here. I could have got mixed up with games and whatnot. But either way, a great game yet again for Marcus Semien. And Ross Stripling got the start, 3 2/3, 5 hits, 3 runs. Didn't walk a batter and struck out 7. Again, there were some defensive lapses behind him. So he wasn't terrible. But again, 3 2/3. You gave up 3 runs. I don't care what the numbers suggest. You allowed 3 runs over 3 2/3. It's not pretty. Period. It's not pretty. People try to make excuses, but no. I mean, you gave up a home run as well, so you can't really get an excuse on that. That was just a bad pitch. But the bullpen, after that rough little start for Ross Stripling, settled down and allowed the Blue Jays to claw back into this game and pull out the victory. Payamps, as I mentioned earlier, was great. He went an inning and a third, allowed 1 hit. The guy hasn't allowed a run yet in the spring, so a great job for him. And this is where the fun stuff gets in for Blue Jay fans. Jordan Romano. I mean, is there anything you can say about our new closer? Yeah, I'm saying it. I mean, it's pretty obvious that he will get the bulk of the save opportunities this year for the Blue Jays, especially now that Kirby Yates is on the shelf for the season. He went an inning, struck out the side. I mean, another day in the office there for Jordan Romano. Francisco Liriano going out there and just doing what he's done all spring long, throwing strikes and throwing clean innings. Right? 1 inning for Liriano, clean inning, no hits, no walks, no runs, and a strikeout for him. And Tim Meza, who I've been high on since before his Tommy John surgery, now that he's back, he went an inning, had a strikeout. He has been perfect so far in the spring, and he's been unbelievable. And another guy that got a start today, I think it's Danny Jimenez in the game yesterday, closed out the ball game. And I think he's a very interesting story. I think he got picked up in the Rule 5. I could be wrong with that. But then he came back to the Blue Jays, and he went an inning, allowed 1 hit, and struck out a batter, and he had some pretty good stuff. So, very interesting player for the Toronto Blue Jays moving forward, and they pick up the 4-3 win over the Detroit Tigers. And today, they won 9-3 over the Philadelphia Phillies, and like I said, improved to 4-2 on the week. And lots of good things going on there for the Blue Jays on the field over the past week. Santiago Espinal, who has had a stellar spring. I mean, he's been unbelievable with the bat. And you know he's sound with the glove. We're not worried about that. So the fact that he went 2 for 4 with a run, 1 run scored, and an RBI today in the leadoff hole, if I'm not mistaken, he was great. He's been great all spring long with the bat. I think the guy deserves a legit chance to make this team. Now, will he? They might go with the veteran presence of Joe Panik. I don't know how they're going to play it out, but Espinal has really made a case for him making the team out of camp. And Lourdes Gurriel Jr., good to see him swing the bat well. He had a 2-run bomb in this game as well, so a great job for him. And pitching-wise, again, not a lot of great pitching performances. Yeah, you only allowed 3 runs, but nothing really stood out to me. I know Anthony Castro threw like a third of an inning and got the guy out, but really nothing crazy there. I have Travis Bergen went a clean inning, walked 1 and struck out 3, so a great job for him. And Ty Tice went an inning, allowed 1 hit and struck out 2, so he did a good job there. Now, Jays fans, we are very close to the season getting going. Obviously still, a week and a bit away. The plan is, next week I'll be doing the same thing that I did this week. All right, another week of spring training. Let's just keep getting through it, guys. Not much left in forms of spring training for the Toronto Blue Jays, but after next week, I will be doing after the final spring training game, I'll do a recap of like the final, whatever it is, 3 or 4, whatever it is. I'll recap those 3 games or whatever it is. And then like the day before the season gets going, season preview, then we're right in. Okay, there's kind of a little update about what's going on with the Blue Jays and the channel moving forward into the season. All right, so you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and are excited for the Blue Jays season to get going, no matter the little injuries we're seeing right now, and obviously Kirby Yates done for the year, but overall, how do you feel about this team still? And do you maybe look at, a Shane Green, who's still a free agent, who has some closing experience and was pretty solid overall last year for the Atlanta Braves? Is he a guy you look at, back end of the bullpen type of guy? Does he still have that stuff, though? Has he kind of lost that touch? I don't know. That's a guy that the Jays could look at in free agency still. He's still sitting there. There is a few guys still out there. So are the Blue Jays feeling that they need to go out there and sign another guy, or are they confident with the amount of guys that they have right now, the cohesive unit they have, even without Kirby Yates, that they can get through this? We're going to have to wait and see, though, because we heard that Ross Atkins is looking. Whether he wheels a deal and gets someone in here, we'll have to wait and see. All right? So comment down below, guys, everything you want to talk about when it comes to the Toronto Blue Jays. And I will talk to you guys Leafs edition on Thursday as they are in Ottawa taking on the Sens. And looking for win number 2 in a row. And Jack Campbell, let's see if he can continue his Campbell's soup magic. We'll have to wait and see how that happens on Thursday night. And as for the Raptors, they take on the Denver Nuggets, I think, tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow night. As the Raptors look to get, I want to say back in the win column, but they've lost 9 straight. They just look to end the misery, get a win. Question I have for you guys, in that game, is Lowry and Powell even going to be there? We're going to have to wait and see. All right, and I'll talk to you guys Blue Jays edition, same time next week, breaking down the same spring training games, getting that much closer to the season getting going. All right, so thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's what I was going for. We'll talk to you guys then.